Welcome to the Global Alliance webinar on the Round the World Roundtables. My name is Valeria Motta. I'm the Alliance Partnerships Manager, and today I want to share with you some information about the roundtables and what do you have to do if you want to run this event in your country. Before we start, I wanted to discuss with you a bit of the global road safety background and what has happened in the past 6 years and why 2019 and 2020 are so important for the road safety community. As you can see in this timeline, in 2015, the global ministerial meeting took place in Brasilia. This was the second one, and it was at the midterm of the Decade of Action. And in this ministerial meeting, ministers from around the world got together to discuss the progress on the targets for road safety. In 2016, road safety was included in the Sustainable Development Goals, the new UN global framework for all social causes. 2017, the UN Global Road Safety Week took place, and the topic was slowed down. And this was a very important moment because this was the biggest road safety week so far. Last year, the Global Status Report was released by WHO, and unfortunately, it showed that the death due to road crashes had increased. This year, we had just finished the UN Global Road Safety Week, which was about leadership, the Speak Up campaign. And just last week, the Alliance announced the launch of its global campaign, Commit to Act, that will give you different tools from now till Sweden, till the third global ministerial meeting, to set the stage and prepare yourself to get there and get your governments participating of such important meeting. One of these tools, one of these initiatives that the Alliance will promote through Commit to Act is the Round the World Roundtables, and it's what we're going to discuss in this webinar. Finally, why 2020 is such an important year for the road safety community? First of all, in February in Stockholm, Sweden, the third global ministerial meeting on road safety will take place. And again, ministers will get together and discuss what has happened and what's the progress with the global road safety targets, which basically is to halve road deaths by 2020. And as we know, this target has not been achieved. And also, it's a very important year because 2020 is the end of the Decade of Action. So in this ministerial meeting, the decision makers, the politicians, have to be very serious about the discussion and what they're doing. Because if we look back to the history of these past 10 years, efforts have been done, but it has not been enough. So there's a serious commitment, a serious action that needs to be taken. And that's why the Alliance is providing these different tools for you, the NGOs, to set the stage towards Sweden. Okay, now let's discuss about the Round the World Roundtables. Here we have the agenda. First, we're going to talk about what the roundtables are and what is the objective. Then we're going to talk who is involved in the roundtable, what type of commitment should be included, what does the event looks like, and finally, what are the next steps if you want to run a roundtable in your country. So what are the Round the World Roundtables? The Round the World Roundtables is a public event at which a governmental authority, that could be at a national or local level, makes a specific commitment to improve road safety. So it's a public event where this announcement is meant. It's made. The Round the World Roundtables will have previous meetings of coordination and discussion, but that is the backstage. The roundtable is the public event where we invite the media, where the government makes the announcement, and we as civil society, I mean you, local NGOs, receive that commitment. This event will happen around the world, and the objective of it is to demonstrate leadership and hold governments accountable. So you, the NGOs, when you receive the commitment from the government, that is an advocacy tool that you can use in the future to hold the government accountable. Finally, all the commitments will be gathered by the Alliance, and the status of them will be presented in Sweden. So we will be able to show if the politicians, if the decision makers are fulfilling their promises or not. So who is involved in the roundtable? First of all, you, the local NGOs. The local NGOs, you're going to be the leaders of the process. You will lead the process and the event, and you will track the commitment. And what does this mean? It means to get together with the government, define together what commitment is going to be, and have all the previous meetings, all the previous discussions that leads to the Round the World Roundtable, which, as I said before, is that public event where the government makes the announcement. Then we have the decision maker, the governmental authority, that it could be at a national or local level, who makes the commitment on road safety. It's important to be, if you want your event to be around the world roundtable, so to be part of this global brand, it has to be a governmental authority, the one making the commitment. Why? Because as I mentioned before, this is going to be an advocacy tool for you in the future. So aim as high as you can to get that commitment from an authority, because this is something that you will use back to say, okay, what are you doing with this public commitment you made? Are you making progress on it or not? And then we're going to have the Global Alliance. We are going to provide you technical support, like design, ideas, and we are going to present the commitments in Sweden. So what type of commitments should be included? First, we need to talk about these commitments. They need to be smart commitments, so you can track them and follow up easily. So it has to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Remember that the roundtable is the event where the decision maker makes the announcement, so it has to be something tangible and simple. Also, the commitment can be at a local or national level. We ask you to aim as high as possible, because as I said, this is an advocacy tool for the future. But we do understand that sometimes, for instance, to get a national commitment, it takes a lot of time, and we don't have enough time from now till Sweden for you to get that. And some examples of what the commitment could be, it could be a speed limit in school zones, the enforcement of a law. A lot of countries has, for instance, mandatory the use of child restraint system or helmets when you're riding a motorcycle, but there's no enforcement whatsoever on those two things. Or it could be a universal emergency number. You will decide, jointly with your government, what is the commitment that's going to be made. And I just want to highlight here that these preparatory meetings, where you start defining the commitment with your government, is key. You have to be strategic, because it's important that it's specific and measurable, but also that it's feasible, that it can happen. So have this preparatory meeting, these previous discussions to the Round the World Roundtable, and reach an agreement with your government of what the commitment will be. So what does the event look like? We encourage you to have the Round the World Roundtable in an unusual spot to draw the attention to the issue. As we mentioned, the Round the World Roundtable is going to be the event where the government makes the announcement of the commitment, and the NGO, the civil society, receives the commitment. So we really discourage that you go to a conference room or to a hotel to have this event. We were thinking of, it could be a pedestrian crossing, a black spot where a fatality has taken place, or outside of a school zone. It has to be a simple event. We're going to provide you the design for pull-up banners and backdrops to be used, because as this is part of a global campaign, it's important to keep the image. In this picture, you can see the event that happened in Vietnam, and the backdrop of that picture is just 2 pull-up banners with the design of the Round the World Roundtables. So what are the next steps if you want to run a Round the World Roundtable? First, please check the checklist and the terms of reference that we sent to see if your activity can qualify for a Round the World Roundtable. Once you have done this, start identifying a smart commitment and have all the previous meeting to agree with your decision maker on that commitment. Then you'll have to organize the event. As we said, it has to be something simple but with visual impact. And at the event, you will receive the commitment. And once that you receive the commitment, track it. Make sure to track it to see its progress, and then the commitment will be taken to Sweden, where the Alliance will present all the progress made around the world in these commitments. Thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions about the Round the World Roundtables, please contact us to admin@roadsafetynGOs.org. Thank you.